Hey, all of you who are visiting me here on the little planet, let me tell you about the last weeks. There was so much going on around me at the beginning of summer vacation, and so many people I know were going in all different directions, some by car or train, others by plane, and one even traveled over 6,000 kilometers by bicycle. With a bicycle without a motor, I should add. And then it was time. Martin and I also moved and packed a few things. As always, our camera backpacks were with us. Our destination was one of my absolute favorite countries, Italy. And we wanted to combine our trip with a visit to my godson Giorgio, who lives with his family high up in the mountains. Due to the now enormous number of construction sites on the German highways, we decided to drive at night. And so we reached the Lake Maggiore already in the late morning, where we first stayed one night to enjoy the beauty of the lake in the small village of Canobbio. Not long ago, a movie was shot right here in this village. It's called Monte Verità, The Rush of Freedom, and it's about a group of young people who, in autumn of 1900, had set out on foot from Munich to Lake Como. They could be described as early dropouts who went in search of a place where they could live out new ways of living together. The group consisted of Ida Hofmann, a pianist and music educator who promoted women's rights and life reforms. She was accompanied by her sister Eugenie, but she was always just called Jenny, and was a concert singer, and by Lotte Hattemer, a teacher who was 24 years old at the time. In addition to these three women, there were also three men. There was Henry Oudenkoven, then 25 years old, the son of a rich industrialist from Belgium, with whom Ida Hofmann later lived in a free marriage. Karl Kreiser, a former Austrian officer of the same age, would later enter into a so-called reform marriage with Ida's sister Jenny. The sixth in the group was Karl Kreiser's brother Gusto, 4 years younger, an artist and dropout. From Como, the six then reached the vineyard Monte Moneschia, only a few kilometers from Canobbio, but it's still in Switzerland, near Ascona. On this mountain, they acquired a large plot of land and from now on called it Monte Verità, the Mountain of Truth. They founded an alternative settlement project, lived vegan, vegetarian, and created there a meeting place for free spirits of all kinds and a space for very different artistic and social movements. Hermann Hesse also spent a few weeks here every now and then, and it would take too long here if I were to list all the others from all over the world who stayed there over the years. I'm very fascinated by these traditions and the stories about them, because there were already people on Monte Verità almost 70 years before the hippies, who were preoccupied with very similar themes. And this at a time when women, for example, still had to squeeze into corsets. Well, I felt very close to all these stories when I wandered through the small medieval alleys there. The next morning, we headed high up into the mountains of Piemonte. The landscape overwhelmed us, even enchanted us, and deeply impressed us. Higher and higher it went up. We drove through beautiful little mountain villages. The traffic became increasingly quiet, and at some point we had no cell phone reception. We had been forewarned and had to laugh. Vacation like in the 80s. Wonderful. The small cottage that we had rented was then actually still a little higher. Alessia, who owns it, has lovingly restored it, and it's part of a small settlement of very old mountain houses. In the evening, we heard only the crickets, and in the morning the birds. Sometimes a dog barked from far away. Martin had composed a song some time ago, to which I sound a little bit, and I always wanted to make a video for this. The song is called Rooted, and I thought that just here in the mountains would be the optimal opportunity to make the film recordings for it. So we went in search of suitable places and roamed the area. In an abandoned village, just before reaching the tree line, we found it. There it was so magical. The wind up there, the light, the nature and the silence. We climbed up the mountains and down again. Of course, always packed with our cameras, lenses and tripods. We always carry a lot of stuff with us. But even if this may sound strange, we love it, to have the cameras and all the equipment with us. Sometimes I'm just glad with all my heart that Martin ticks like that and doesn't think I'm crazy, or I him. And sometimes I remember this sentence: art is beautiful, but it's a lot of work. But it's just that we both feel absolutely blessed to be able to experience all these creative processes. And then our cameras fell in love with the Cervo Valley, which we could easily reach on foot from our cottage. Here we filmed most of the time and couldn't get enough of all the beauty around us. At the end of our time there, it was clear to us that we will come back here. Back home, we had brought the sun and summer with us to Germany. The pumpkin plants had really given their all during our absence and are now meandering through the garden. Soon I will be able to harvest the first pumpkins. And for all of you who already know your way around this little planet, you surely remember that the little white duck Rita has unfortunately not been with us for some time, and Tao, the drake, was so alone. And now, look at this. Now he has these two young gentlemen at his side, and you can really see how good it does him to be in company again. At first, the plan was to find two females for him. We had even thought about the names for them and wanted to call them Thelma and Louise. Well, and then came, a little unexpectedly, just these two males. Martin then had the idea to name them Simon and Garfunkel. Apart from that, we got on our bikes in every free minute and jumped into the nearby lake, and still do that every now and then, weather permitting. We stand by the fire. Lying in our hammocks, we are also already planning one or the other creative project again. I will let you participate in any case, and am very happy if you could have your joy up to here and have spent your time here with me. here on the small planet, which, as always, can also be your small planet.
Forever be in this moment, in this moment. Forever be, forever be. The night fades like a whispered song as time rushes on.